We have the Holbein Luminous Watercolors today. Look at how pretty they are. We're going to test them out. We're going to swatch them. We're going to see if they glow in the dark, which, spoiler alert, they do. I'm really excited to see all these. We're going to paint something with them, and it'll be lots of fun. So I want to say that I did receive these from Holbein. I saw them at Creativation, and I was like, so excited for them. I noticed that you guys were excited in the video about them, and I was like, I have to get my hands on these. So they were gracious enough to send them to me. I did buy this artist color paper, acid-free, cold press from Holbein for this video. So they did not supply that. We look inside, we have the literature. It's always good to read the literature. These do have an AP symbol on them. They're not going to hurt you because that's what the AP symbol is there for. I love watercolors. I love watercolor markers. I love watercolors in general. It was a while ago where I had no idea what watercolors were. So it was really exciting to be able to use watercolors. And there's a lot of different ways to use them. You can put the tubes in here, and I'll clean this out so we can put the tubes in here. And you can just put water with them, right? And then I also have this paint pan that we're gonna check out. So I was at Blick and I was like, I need a watercolor pan so I could put these in there. And I didn't realize that Holbein had one. Otherwise I would have tried to get that one. But they did not have that one at Blick that day. So they had this one. This is from Blick. And I've already put one of the pans in here. So here's all my pans. We're gonna put these in here real fast. So you can do watercolor a lot of different ways. So the first way, right, is just to put it straight in here, put the water with it. You can put it in the pan. You can even let it dry, and you can use it straight out of the tube. There's so many different ways to use watercolor. So we're just going to go through, put these pans in here. The pans were like almost as much money as the watercolors. It was ridiculous. But if we have a place to put these and to let them dry, I think I'm going to prefer this one just so that way I can use it again. Before you close it up, you could just close it up and keep them wet, but I'll probably let them dry out today when I'm done with them. This one's also nice because you could bring the colors out here, mix them together. I think you can do this on the same side here too. So they do make these pans pretty nice. When we open a tube, I was like so confused. I was like, what do I do with the tube? So this is great. Like if you're a beginner watercolorist and you just love it as much as I do, but you're trying to learn, let's learn together. We're going to use the pans today as opposed to the dish besides this one, just so that way we will have them all in here. And you can tell I've already used some of these, like this green has stuff on it. You actually don't need that much, so I'm just gonna put like a little bit in here, like that much. Seriously, that much is gonna get us, it's hard to get it to stop coming out. Okay, hopefully that'll stop it. I don't wanna waste any of the color. That's gonna get us so much color, and it will be great. So you can let these dry like overnight, and then they become like the hard watercolors. You can use them right away. There's so many like different options with these colors. And like I said, they're so super vibrant. These are like my favorites. Okay, so I don't know if this, I think this is the pink that I used before. I have been waiting to do this video for a long time, but I've also been very intimidated to do this video. It's one of those things where you're like, I love it, but I'm also like, learning about it, so I want to make sure I'm doing it right. So that's why I did like the, oh, why is this one not coming out? It feels like there's like water or something in it. Okay, we're just gonna let it like fall down. It did not want to stick. But so I did that video like learning about them first because I was like, I totally want to know everything about watercolor before I attempt to use these like amazing, awesome ones. This one doesn't want to come out either. That's okay, because as long as it's in the pan, it's in the pan. But I still have a ton left. So these are pretty pricey. I know that. But the thing is, they'll last. So if you want to use them for a while, you'll be able to do that. Like this little bit would, yeah, it's gonna last me all day. I almost like, in another video, it'd be fun to like get some basic Holbein watercolors. And if you've been in watercolors for a long time and you see something I'm doing wrong, let me know. But I'm just learning, having fun, that kind of stuff. I know there's like, anytime I do a video, people are like, you did this wrong or you did this wrong. But that's the thing, we're all learning, right? We all have different levels of skill. This is such a pretty color palette, just looking at it already. I think I've already swatched these. I was so excited when I got them. It's one of those things where I was like, I'm not ready to do a video. It intimidates me a little bit. I want to make sure I know how to do watercolor. And the thing I love, like I said, about Holbein is they have the AP symbol on a lot of their products. They try to do that. We have all our beautiful colors. We are going to open up our pad of paper. So you can get both of these on Blick, and I'll leave those links below for you guys. Some watercolor pads will stay on there, but this one, it looks like you can take it off. So I'm definitely gonna take it off because, yeah, I just want to. Okay. Oh, this is like it's smooth paper. It's almost like a linen kind of thing. It's really cool. What does it say? This is beautiful. So I do have some watercolor brushes that I'm going to use. Let's see. I can probably just use this one. And we're going to take our watercolor palette, right? I'm going to come over here to the side, get my water here, and then just use it to pick up my color. So I'm just like putting a little bit on my brush, a little bit of water, and then we're going to go for it, right? So that's actually probably enough. So now we're going to get it with the water. That's a super saturated one. Like, it doesn't have to be that saturated. Oh, that is such a pretty color. You know what we are going to do, because we have so much space, we're going to bring it down. So you can see how much color you can get with these. Look at that, it's still going. Like it's going to be going for a long time. Trying to make the lines smooth, but you can see just bringing this color down, so beautiful. It's still gonna go. So I'm like getting this really pretty gradient. I'm gonna bring some of this color. You can see the pigment is like still sitting there. So we're gonna come get water. It's a beautiful color. So we're getting a little bit less pigment down here. What a beautiful gradient. I don't know how we're gonna do this, but write the names on them. I love writing the names in black ink. And I think I'll have to see if Holbein has any pens. If they do, I might not have them. I don't know if they have any markers. I'm not sure. I'm just having fun with this paper. Then an important thing, I'm gonna take this water and see what I get out of the water. Beautiful, right? So it's started to dry a little bit here. Just get this really pretty wash coming down here. Trying to get the gradient there. Okay. Super beautiful. But now we're getting watercolor is like the prettiest. Okay, I think that's good. So we've seen some gradient in that one. Okay, so now we're gonna do our next color. So I cleaned off my brush. I still have a little bit of pink in it. Now I've got some clear water, so I can use this for my next one. So I'm gonna pick up my color like I did before. Try to make it as wide as that one. Now, not all watercolors are as pigmented as these ones are. Ooh, I love this, working with this. But these ones are like super pigmented, you can tell. So now I want to bring it down about the same amount that I did before. Just loading up some of the color up top to get that gradient. Well, especially when it's still wet, you want to work with it while it's still wet. So once it dries, you saw over here, I had to work on it a little bit more to get the it to blend. So beautiful. All right, let's see what color's next. Looks like I didn't use hardly any water on that one. Like that, I feel like I'm learning. But see how I barely put any in there? Like this is gonna last for a long time. Okay, so you can even squeeze while you're doing this a little so you get the water to come out. It's a beautiful purpley color. These really nice lines. Since it's already wet, we can really work it in. Now I'm just working out my brush. Definitely going a lot faster than those first one. Probably write the names like on the top or on the side over here. I'm not sure. I just want to get a little bit more on the top here. So beautiful. I'm in love with these colors. They're like so beautiful and radiant. So I'm just squeezing it, getting all the water out. Then we'll go to our next color. Okay. This one is similar to that color, but just a little bit different. Oh gosh, that was not straight. So this one's just a little bit more purpley, you can see. So we've gotten it wet over here. So we can just come down like we did before with our gradient. trying to see how I like this paper. I feel like it's very texturized. I kind of like a smoother watercolor paper, but I'm always up for trying new things. But look at how beautiful it's drying. It's just so beautiful. That's the thing, like watercolors look a lot different when you just let them dry and just be pretty. Okay. Next color is like a bluish, I think, and I didn't really use. Okay, so ooh, this one's like a indigo. Oops, I kind of let it get outside of my lines. So beautiful. So this one is not exact. Ooh, look at that. Like true to the packaging, it looks like a little bit. Beautiful. Oh, this one had a lot of ink. Smoothing out the gradients. So pretty, so pretty. I love that one. All right, so next we go with like a lighter blue. This one's a pretty like turquoise color for sure. Okay, I've got tons of ink. And you can also, you can layer these too to get different gradients. So you don't have to go like the dark wash for starters, right? I'm kind of running out of ink, but I kind of want it to be that way. Okay, I hope I'm not going to run out of space. I just realized like I'm not halfway through and I'm like, maybe I'll just have to make these other ones a little bit smaller. Okay. We've got like 6 to go and I've used more than half the paper. Okay, so we're going to make this half a little bit smaller. Might look funky, so. Okay, so this one's definitely a lighter color. You can certainly tell. So you could layer it if you want. So that way you could get more. That one's beautiful. They're all beautiful. All right, the next one is going to be this bright, bright yellow. So beautiful. We should try these on black paper too. I don't know if I have black watercolor paper, but I have some black paper that we can just try them on. Okay, that was so vibrant. Oops, at the bottom, where it's not supposed to be vibrant. This one's interesting to work with. It's like either really bright or not at all on there. So beautiful though. Okay. So we got 4 left to go. I think we're gonna have enough space. Barely. I was just so generous earlier. Kind of reminds me of that yellow. It takes a lot. I don't want to put any more on. Just either like super light or super dark. Oh my gosh, that is just pretty. Okay. I got a ton on this one. And water too, so. That's what I love about watercolor too, is there's just like so many different ways to use it. And it's just learning about how to control the amount of watercolor you have. And once you figure out how to control it, you can do some really cool things with it. So you're seeing how it's kind of drying on this side a little bit. We're just getting these really, really pretty gradients. But I don't love this paper. Like, yeah, we're going to use a different paper for the next portion. Oh my gosh, I don't want to get them too close together. I think I did. Oh. Trying to use what I have in here. So what I can do, bring it up here a little bit and then smooth it down into here. So I'm deliberately putting these edges on here. I don't know if you can tell. I did not do that earlier. But you can see the edges are strong here and the ones on this side are not. Okay, this is the last one. These ones are pretty. Orange. So for my next thing, I think I'm going to try to see, I do think I have some watercolors. I think I need some white for what I'm going to be doing. So beautiful. So here's our color palette. It went from like super big to super small. And we'll probably like put all the names on here like this, so that way we'll have all the names. This is like the most prettiest color palette. Like I said, don't know if I love the paper, but at least I'm trying different things. Very, very beautiful colors. And all the names are on here. So if you are trying to figure out the name, it's called Luminous Green. It's super easy. A lot of these look like that. So very like easy colors. I'm gonna write on these now with a black pen. I love black pen with watercolor or anything. I feel like a black ink that is just nice can go with so many things, like with paint and everything. And these colors are super vibrant. I love having them labeled so I'll be able to know what to do and be able to use them later. Let's see which colors glow in the dark. Ooh, okay, the first, oh look at, a lot of them do. So we got the red, orange, lemon, green, blue. Not so much the blue violet. Violet, not as much, but a little bit. And then our magenta and our opera and our pink really do. Look at that blue. That's really cool. Okay, we're gonna try these on black paper. This is not watercolor black paper. I don't know if they make watercolor black paper, but we're just gonna try it on here. They have hardened. We don't have any more blue because we were using that. So we might have to put a little bit in here. So what we'll do is we'll get it wet and then put it on here. But it'll be interesting to see how they go on when they're hard. So you can totally do this when they're hard. All right, so we're gonna test these out. So you can either put the water in here. I'm just gonna get the brush a little bit wet and put it on here. So we'll see, I think they might be opaque. So let's start with the pink again. So you just get a little bit on here. Ooh, they do look opaque. Look at that. Like I said, this is not watercolor paper, but we're pretending it is. So that is so awesome. Okay, these are like some of my new favorite watercolors. I have to find black watercolor paper now. Okay, I'm just doing little dots and then I'm gonna write the name. I don't think I'm talented enough to write it with this, but I'll write it somehow, probably in a white somehow. It'd be cool if it was the color though, right? Okay, so how's this one gonna turn out? They might not all be as opaque, but we'll see. Okay. You can definitely tell the difference between the water and the pigment. So this is where you'd probably want to put more pigment on to get more color. Okay, let's see this blue. I don't know if these are intended to go on black paper. So that one, it just looks like a blob right now. So this is our favorite blue that we were using everywhere today. Ooh, it's a little bit opaque. Enough. That's so cool. Oh, that one is cool. I like that one. Okay, surprise. Oh, so we're going to get into a bunch that probably are. Let's see. Go to our green. So they're not like super bright colors so far. They might turn into some super bright colors as we go. So I'm just putting more pigment on here. But definitely enough to like get some color definition difference. Let's see what this yellow one is like. I thought this one would be more opaque, so maybe I just need more ink on here. Yeah. Ooh, there we go. I call it ink, but it's actually watercolor. Okay. Ooh, this one's pretty. Ooh, I like that one. So pretty. Okay, so that one actually kind of looked green, which is weird. Okay. Ooh, that one's pretty too. These are, I don't know what I expected with these. This one is the weird one that fell out, so I might have to like go back a few times. Okay, that one's cool. Definitely a little different on the black paper. I don't think they're like super intended to use on black paper, but they definitely show up, and they're definitely all different colors. You use them probably a little bit differently than you would use them on the white paper. I'm going to write on these with a white Posca pen because it looks really good. Now, I will tell you my luminous colors on black are not as luminous or as opaque as they should be. And I used dry watercolors, so I'm wondering if I didn't use dry watercolors and I used the wet, if it would be better. So I might try that out, and I might do like a short or something to show you guys, and you guys can see how much better they look than these ones. Let's see if they glow in the dark on the black. These like turned out so cool. You can actually see them better on the black paper than you can see them like just with by itself. Oh my gosh, those are so cool. I love it. Okay, this is definitely cool. It's like secret artwork you can make on here. I did another full video on this earlier, but we're going to go over some of these watercolor techniques so that way you will be able to use some of these techniques. And I use some of these techniques today when I am going to do my painting coming up. Well, it's really like, I don't know, watercolor coloring. So we have glazing where you put more than one layer on. You can do wet on wet. You can do wet on wet blending. You can do layered blending. You can do wet on dry, salt water, resist, dry on wet, resist, a light wash, a bloom where you have the edges, paper towel. You can do a dark wash, which is darker than the light wash, right? Salt, crystals, so wet on wet, so you get things wet and then you fill it in. You can splatter, wet, medium, dry brush, blend, and then salt water. So we're going to go over some of these techniques today when we are going to do our next adventure. We're going to do some coloring with watercolors. So today, I think this is Derpy from K-Pop Demon Hunters. That's his name. We're going to paint him. So I have some reference colors. I think this blue is going to be sufficient. We could maybe mix it with a little bit of the darker purple, but I think it's really a good color for him. And then we're gonna have him glow in the dark too. There is no white glow in the dark paint. I think that would be an addition that they could put on here is the white, so we can get some of these white. I do have this gouache. I do have like some Holbein watercolors, but they're not like the basic colors. So I do have some gouache. Gouache is an acrylic polymer, so it's a little bit different. So I'm not sure how it's going to be mixed, but we're going to cheat like some of the areas that need to be black. We're going to put there. So, but we're going to use our color palette here. I think we'll use some of these colors for the eyes. And then we'll use our white, and then we're gonna use some like layering techniques, and we have some cool things happening in here. I'm not gonna try to do the fur, but that would be cool. I mean, we just have black eyebrows, black dots, then we've got the eyes. So this should be interesting. It should be fun to try to recreate this. I'm gonna use some of the techniques that I showed you on here, but if you wanna watch the video for all of these, see how I did these, you can check out the video. It was like I said, it was one of the favorite videos that I've done this year. I printed this out. It was, you can see there's a little bit of ghosting from the printer, but we're just gonna ignore that and pretend it didn't happen. We might try to paint over it. I'm not sure. It's like a dark gray. And I got this page from directcoloring.com, and we're just gonna go to town now. We're gonna go through this kind of fast because I didn't want to like bore you guys for like 2 hours straight, because it was gonna be a little bit long. So we'll go through this in about 2 or 3 minutes. I will really try to put this together so that way I can have it like in a membership area, the full thing. So I'm going through, I used gouache, I teed it a little, I didn't use the luminous, and I colored everything that was black, including Sussy. And then I went in to the eyes next. I started with a light pink and a light orange on one side, and then I tried to blend them together with the yellow, and then I went over with the pink so we could get these really strong eyes, and I'm excited to see how they dry. And then I did the ears. The pink was a little dark, so I put a little bit of black on it, and then I went and did the teeth, and then I did the mouth. I put a little red in the mouth because mouths are not entirely black, and so they are red on the inside. And then the next thing I did was the fur, and we definitely have some shadows on here. The face isn't as dark, and down below is a little bit darker. So I really wanted to emphasize that and make sure around the eyes are not super dark. You could get some white and help that out too. And then I did the sky, and then I did a wet on wet technique, and then wherever there was sky, I just put in little drops of a watercolor. And then after that, I went back and I did, you know, a little bit more layers on the face, and I created an ear because I felt like it was just missing something. And then I went through and did the paws. The paws were hard. There was so much watercolor down there, and the white kept flowing down. I wanted it to look like stone right there, so I did a black and white mix of gouache because I didn't have that in the luminous colors. But overall, I think it turned out really good. I really liked it. I think you can do so much with watercolor that you can't do with paper and pencil, or it takes so much longer to do with like a pencil. So I'm super grateful for watercolor, and I can't wait to use it again. Let's see what Derpa looks like. That is so cool. Look at the clouds. He's glowing just like in the movie. That's so cool. I loved the clouds. For the clouds, we did wet on wet, and I just kind of dabbed it on there. For this one, we used the acrylic gouache. And then for the eyes, I did a little bit yellow with the white on top. I looked at him, and it could have been a little bit more yellow, but that's okay. For down here, for the eyes, I did it kind of wet, but I concentrated in the areas, so the pink on the outside, and then we had the yellow, and then we had the orange on the outside. And then the nose had a little bit of black in it with the pink, same with the ears. And then, so I used a little bit of white in here, but also kind of came over this a few times. And then the paws, I don't know if I love them, but they were supposed to be like whitish, but they didn't do that great. But I don't know. This paper was wrinkling as I was doing it, but I think they turned out okay. And then we just have some gradients down here. I could probably go over it maybe again. I don't know, but I liked how it turned out. Like, it's not as dark as maybe it could be, or it could be like a little bit bluer. So I could have combined it with some of the blue, maybe go over it with the blue, but maybe I'll try that on a different one. I just don't want to mess this up because I feel like it looks good and I don't want to mess it up. And then down here, I did black and white gouache together to get this gray. So I used a few different techniques on here. Oh, and the tongue in here, I did some of the, I feel like The watercolor effects were a lot easier to do than if I had done this with like a pencil or a marker to get all this shading in here, and especially the eyes. I end up loving them. They really got some nice blends in there. The tongue is super nice. I used glazing in here where I had done it all red, and then I went over it with black, so you can really see the tongue in there, and the cheeks are red. We have little paws down here. So there's a lot of different methods I was able to use on this painting. These colors are absolutely beautiful. I'm like super in love with them. They turned out okay on black paper. I think they're more like of a tint. They definitely shine on the white paper. So I don't know if I would use them on black paper unless I was doing some things that didn't need the opaqueness. Like this could be a nice background if you wanted for black paper. The color's just beautiful. Let me know what you think if you pick some up, and I hope you have a great day, and we'll see you in the next video.